Get this. Weekday mornings from 9 on Triple M. Pete Smith is with us. We've been talking about the Logies and Ed, your observations.
Joan Rivers is the greatest person to ever be on Australian television ever.
How good was she?
Oh, man.
It's just like someone coming out and putting the stats onto the broadcast.
There it was, just, trailing off. And
she put the guy from Mod Squad in the shade.
Well, that's what I love is that they managed to beep her first F.
Yeah.
But then they've just obviously gone, just let her go. And then it went out.
And Richard Wilkins is trying to get her back onto the auto cue. He put his hand on her back. Get your hands off me. And then she threw her Logie away. And then they cut to Eddie Maguire. Everyone was laughing. And they cut to Eddie Maguire just for a second. And that was the best moment for me. Just to see Eddie that unhappy.
Oh, look. I just love, that Richard Wilkins tried to get her back onto the auto cue where he lives.
And that was the thing. Richard Wilkins's, perfectly manicured auto cue world just coming crashing down around him. It was so wonderful.
You know something, though? In 50 years, they'll still be playing that clip.
I know, yeah.
That's right.
It's got a place in, perpetuity.
I've got a clip here just to show you how boring some of the auto cue work got.
Now, Australia is a country blessed with an astounding pool of talent that we continually draw from and more often than we'd like export. Identifying true talent is a complicated process. Sometimes it's the production companies or the networks that find them, but it is you, the viewing audience, that brands them as future stars, a task that you've accomplished with both accuracy and perception for the past 27 years. And it is my privilege to have been included in the roll call of performers that have received...
They just started talking amongst themselves. There you go. Hey, here's another one of my favourite moments from the Logies.
Fast Forward and Full Frontal were on for 10 years and won 11 Logies for the cast and crew. Please join us in thanking the show's creator and Gold Logie winner, Steve Vizard.
Oh, what a heartwarming moment at the Logies. Pete, I wish you had been doing voiceovers last night because you would have got to say, and I'm not even sure if I can say this name. Oh, in fact, here's what happened when somebody else tried to say it.
The nominations for the most popular actress are Natalie Bassingthwaite.
Can you say that surname, Pete?
Natalie Bathingthwaite, I think it is, isn't it? But that's just a fluke. I normally bugger it up.
I'd like to see a show called Bassingthwaite of the Century.
Well, the only trouble with that girl is we haven't got enough globes for the marquee. That'd be the problem, isn't it,
That's right.
I just love how the American actor didn't even bother to read the names before he got out there. Like,
no.
I'll wing it. Don't worry about that. It's not a name of the world I can't pronounce. Let's have a crack.
There's too much to do. Daryl Summers tried to jump out of the bushes at Tom Gleisner, as it were, and because, of course, thank God you're here is an improvised show.
Oh, no, don't.
So Daryl has sort of ambushed Tom and just started, throwing questions at him. Have a listen to this.
And her father used to play
in jazz nightclubs.
Pink. He's talking about
a couple
Pink.
of years ago, we know that she won.
She won a Grammy.
Actually, you're factual. I thought you'd say she won a chook raffle or something, but you're very good, Tom. Well done. Tom Gleisner, thank God you're here.
That's what I like to call an Alan Partridge moment.
It was so great.
If you know Alan Partridge, it's, I thought she would have had a bit of a gag there, gave it to you on a plate, but no, fair enough, fine, we'll move on.
That was so great. Tom just answered because he knew the answers.
Gave them the serious answers about Pink.
Great.
What else was going on? Do you sit at home and watch? I mean, sorry, Pete. I know you should really be there, but do you watch it at home or?
Yeah. I watched right to the end. Too right. Yeah.
Wow.
I watched right through to the John Wood moment of passion.
Do you flip around though? Do you see what's on the other channels at the same time?
No, we didn't move off 9 all night.
Because it doesn't matter. We've got the Foxtel, and it doesn't matter how big something is.
Oh, you go, do you?
Always you'll find Bill Collins on whatever damn channel he's on, still talking about movies you've never heard of. Listen to this.
And as mentioned to you earlier, this was shot in the Grand Teton area of Wyoming, not far from where a lot of Shane was made. I hope you'll enjoy Jubal.
What? Now, even I haven't heard of a film called
Jubal.
Oh, yeah, Joan Crawford, I think.
Was it?
I think so.
I've no idea.
Yeah.
I was sitting there asking my wife, have we seen...
Jubal.
I don't know. I must pop down to the video shop and see if they've got...
Jubal.
What was that they reckon Richard Gere had up his ass?
Jubal.
Sorry. That was alleged. I should have put the word alleged
Yeah.
in. What about this bloke here? Painted a portrait of John Howard. What's his name? Tim Patch.
Yep.
Patchy. Is a bloke who uses his penis to paint portraits of famous people. And he's done both the PM and Kim Beazley. And I have to say, quite a good likeness for,
Of all the penis artwork I've seen, that's the finest. But when I was living in a share house in Newtown, we had this big canvas on our wall, and we split it into 4. There was 4 of us living in the house, and we each had to contribute something.
Yeah.
My friend Courtney did a map of Sydney by memory.
Good.
Which was pretty good.
That's impressive.
She was upped then by my friend Charlie, who just kind of knocked over a tin of paint when he was drunk. That was pretty good.
Right.
But the winner was my flatmate Tom,
Yes.
who painted a portrait of Jeanette Howard with his ball sack.
Really? Jeanette Howard with the ball sack. I think he's Trump Patchy.
Even Patch will be fighting it out in the Archibald.
I'm imagining that's quite a difficult skill to execute.
It's hard to get the hair right.
Okay.
It's quite a dull surface, the ball sack.
Really? I've often heard that said in art circles. I noticed you just said 3 people. I'm assuming the 4th is you.
Yeah.
Were you gonna top the ball sack work?
No, I kind of gave up. I was going to do a drawing of us all as historical figures, but but
that didn't happen.
And it never happened.
Yeah, the pants stayed on. It's tough work painting a portrait with your penis.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to then leave your penis in turpentine overnight. Tell you what, Tom Cruise. This Mission Impossible film's open.
Yeah.
There's photographs of him in the paper today. In one day, he's gone through New York on a motorbike, in a car. He's descended from the sky in a helicopter. He's driven a truck. And he's arrived in the harbour in a speedboat. Look, photos of all 5 things. Helicopter, truck, motorbike, speedboat, car, jumping on the roof of the car. You reckon that film must be rubbish?
There is actually a formula out there.
I mean, I'm not suggesting it is.
No.
The shorts look all right.
I know.
And
I know what you're saying. But
Jeffrey Wells on the internet, who's a tough judge, says it's good.
Okay.
So I'm suggesting it probably is. But
isn't there like the equation goes like it's 1 for 1. The wackier the entrances, the crappier the movie, and up we go.
And opening all around the world on the same day, which I think was first done for Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Was it?
First done all around the world on the same day because it was terrible. Wasn't a single laugh in Beverly Hills Cop 2, if you remember.
Well, I saw Ace Ventura in Poland, in Krakow, when it first came out. And it was English and then Polish dubbed over the top.
Right.
But dubbed slightly afterwards. So something would happen, and then I would laugh, and then the whole cinema would go up.
What did all righty then sound like?
Click.
Sorry, I think that was from The Mask anyway. I like Ace Ventura, the first one.
So do I.
I like the bit where he's stuck on a square of popping plastic and can't get off it. Great moments in cinema.
Yeah.
What else? Tom Cruise news, more of it. After weeks of legal wrangling, Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise have signed a $53 million prenuptial agreement.
Wow. Who gets the 53 mil?
I don't know. What does that mean? I didn't even understand quite a
Yeah, I guess it just sort of says, look, we're going to get divorced.
Yeah.
So let's just do the divorce settlement now.
Yeah.
To save us some time later on.
Why wait?
Yeah, I'm sure surely that's what it means.
It says prenuptial discussions took so long the couple's plans to marry before their daughter was born had to be put on hold. Isn't that romantic?
Oh, isn't it lovely?
What do you get someone when they sign their prenuptial agreement? Is there a special present for that?
I don't know.
Oh, it's beautifully romantic.
Baby, by the looks of things. You know.
What else have we got? Oh, listen to this bloke. Oh, this is my criminal of the week. A
go.
nervous passenger found with more than a kilo of opium in his luggage at Melbourne Airport used a bikini top to wipe sweat from his forehead during a search.
What?
This was the giveaway. They were searching his suitcase and he's reached in and grabbed a bikini top and just been wiping away the sweat on his forehead. But they were already suspicious because his suitcase smelt of glue.
Those guys are brilliant, though. They've gone, okay, I smell glue.
Yeah.
He's got a bikini. I bet he's got opium.
Bang.
That's genius.
But he's and sure enough, he'd glued a false
bottom. The old trick.
Into his suitcase.
Need a new one. They're onto that one.
Millions of dollars worth of opium. Well, I'll just glue the suitcase about. I won't bother doing that I can do that in the cab.
Yeah. It's probably for the best.
On the way to the airport.
Yeah.
What else have we got? Surgery to save the world's heaviest man.
Why? Look, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but he's probably the world's heaviest man because he's eaten the most out of any man in the whole world.
That's true.
Surely he could have stopped.
Just stop giving him food.
There's your first cure.
It seems too obvious, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, obviously.
A Mexican man who listen to this, 544 kilograms.
How do they weigh him?
They have to go to one of those truck stops.
This is what I'm saying. I reckon it's a winch system. I reckon they've got to slide like a blanket underneath him and then kind of lift him up with a crane.
Well, he can't.
Industrial style.
He can't get out of his bed. He's unable to walk. How's he get into the kitchen? Someone's obviously bringing him food.
They throw food at him. What he catches in his mouth, he can eat.
But they're taking him to Italy from wherever he is. I'm going to guess America. No, he's in Mexico.
Yeah.
And they're going to take him to Italy to have a life-saving operation. How are they going to get him there? The same way they had to get Kong from the island to New York. You know, it was never shown.
Look,
but you assume a big ship.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful Peter Jackson film when it comes out as well.
Well, good luck to that.
You stopped yourself. What were you going to say?
Fat bastard. I'm sorry. I was going to say good luck to that fat bastard. Sometimes you just forget you're on the radio. Rob Sitch. Okay.
Thank you. You always attract good audience.
We attract a very fine quality of fake audience. Every time I have to introduce you on something, Rob, I always feel the temptation to use a phrase that was used in the old TV Week to describe you, the Medico of Mirth. You remember when you were the Medico? They found out that you were a doctor, and for years you were the Medico of Mirth. So are you technically still a doctor?
Well, technically, yes. I don't
practice.
I think people do say that with Mirth now.
Right.
But I think, you do anything for 8 years. You sort of, you're in prison for 8 years, you have a certain fondness for the...
Look, I don't know if you want to tell this story on here, and we certainly won't name the hospital that you were working at, but you once told me about a bloke who was like a surgeon at the hospital you were working at who had a museum. You remember this? He had a museum in a cupboard, a secret cupboard at the hospital, of things he'd removed from people's asses. Do you remember telling me this?
That's right.
And after every removal, he'd have to say, do you mind if I hang on to this for the museum? Do you remember that?
I do. There's a sort of I think medicos, I don't know which attracts what, but medicos are collectors.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of a bizarre world, sort of... I reckon when medical people watch Hannibal Lecter, they go, "What's wrong? What's everyone getting about?
What's wrong with Hannibal?
What's wrong with him? It's just a guy that's just gone off the rails a little."
That's right.
Yes, no, there's a fascination with that subject in medicine, and more with the excuses.
Do you remember the story about the hammer?
I remember this. No, I thought you were about the guy that shot himself, and I went in to see him, and he goes, "Sitchy, how are you?" To which I answered, "Great, how are you?"
Look, the story, I don't know whether you're just reluctant to tell it or you've forgotten it. You told me a bloke had gone into that hospital with a hammer up his ass.
Oh, my gosh.
And the surgeon I don't know how that had happened. He fell over in the shower while doing carpentry.
Happens every day.
And that the doctor had taken the hammer out and said, "Look, do you mind if I have this for the museum?"
That's right.
And the bloke said, do you remember what he said?
Something about its value, I think it was.
He went, no, you can't have it. It's part of a set.
That's right.
So there you go.
No, you can't have it. It's part of a set. That's right. We're not breaking any patient-doctor confidentiality, are we?
He knows who he is.
There could be hundreds of thousands of people in this town.
I don't think there's radio announcer patient confidentiality. Hey, what about them miners? They're out of there.
Cliche watch, please.
Yeah, if you've seen Ray Martin promoting something called Shaft of Hope, we want to hear about it. Because they're trying to put these two pretty funny and interesting blokes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They're trying to put them into the Stuart Diver telemovie box.
Yeah. Funny guys.
Slow motion and inspirational music.
Yeah.
But, there are so many aspects to this story, and there's been a lot of focus on Todd and Brand.
Oh, yeah.
But what about what's been going on up on the surface? Some of the heroes of this story, I think, have been forgotten. Let me explain.
Well, even as rescuers finally broke through, rock, one expert described as harder than Charlie Sheen at cheerleader practice, some were still suggesting that a shorter route to Todd and Brent was being ignored.
Mate, they're going a long way around. You want to come in from the top. That's faster. Yes, I'll be out of there quicker. But are you taking the advice of geologists, of rescuers? No, journalists. Look, these guys have worked it out. Have you seen the map in the paper? Right. I mean, they should come in from the top. Right, so the newspaper has come up with this. Yeah, look, if we get these guys out of here, I mean, that's good for the families and it's good for the rest of us. Who are you? Look, mate, I don't want to say what newspaper. You're a journalist. Look, mate, don't you want to go home? Right, but haven't you had enough of this place? You're Beaconsfield. Where the are we? Yeah, it's been going on for 2 weeks now. Let's just bottle the egg. Right. Get these guys out of there. I want to get back to my office. But don't you think we should be thinking about Todd and Brant and the families? Mate, them. What about Naomi? She's only got 6 outfits. She's starting to repeat.
The plight of Naomi Robson, forced to soldier on night after night with only rudimentary production, makeup and green room facilities, was one that captured the nation. But Naomi's ordeal was not an isolated case. Hundreds of reporters and so few morsels of Todd and Brant colour to go around.
We're told that this morning they had yogurt for breakfast.
Thanks, Jeremy.
With the 48-hour deadline extended time and time again and coffee-making facilities already stretched to the limit, and even then it's, quote, not as good as you'd get on the mainland, some were starting to wonder whether they could go the distance.
Like yesterday, I saw Charles Woodley take a dump behind that tree over there. I mean, where's the dignity in that?
Some at the site were driven to desperate extremes to protect what little they had.
Oh, jeez. What have you done to him? I think you've broken...
I've been standing on this corner for 2 days. This is my mother stoop. Capiche?
And as tensions ran high, one man remained focused on the job at hand.
Bill Shorten, you've been here every day. Yes, I have. In the same bomber jacket. That's right. What's the latest? I'm not interested in speculation about the leadership of the Labor Party. I was going to ask about Todd and Brant. Yes, absolutely. We're doing everything we can. You think it'll be much longer? Oh, look, Kim Beasley's doing an excellent job. He'll be there for a long time yet. I meant the rescue. The miners? Yes. We're all thinking about them. Sure. That's the miners. Not the leadership of the Labor Party.
And so, as the families of Todd and Brant and the people of Beaconsfield celebrate their miraculous escape, spare a thought for those forgotten heroes who stood alongside them, photographing them, recording them, and giving of themselves.
That's one of the stories I'll have you tomorrow night when, and I know I'm sounding a bit like a broken record, but when we dearly hope we'll be able to bring you some good news from the Beaconsfield mine.
Fifi Box is with us.
Yes.
The Cadbury chocolate purple. It belongs to them. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
What, the actual colour purple?
Well, that's what they're trying to say. We own that colour purple. And that anyone else who tries to use it, we will sue them. And there was a court case with Darryl Lee, although Darryl Lee won. Listen to this. Cadbury does not own the colour purple and does not have an exclusive reputation in purple in connection with chocolate. Justice Peter Heary ruled.
Good work, Heary. Another good decision.
Through a mouthful of chocolate. Cadbury had claimed Darryl Lee's use of a purple with a striking and obvious likeness to Cadbury's had misled and deceived customers into buying Darryl Lee chocolate. Would you ever do that?
Oh, Darryl Lee's been around for years. I'd say most of last century.
But the words Darryl Lee chocolates might be a suggestion that you're not buying Cadbury's, wouldn't it?
Oh, totally.
If you can read.
Yes.
If you can read, that is.
Right. So this is for people just wandering in the 7-Eleven.
What I'm saying.
Off their nut, just reaching for purple.
And you know what? I mean, Darryl Lee, have a few select stores around the country. Cadbury's, every convenience store on every street corner. What's their problem?
Well, they're obviously just getting heavy. They're sending the heavies in. And so this is what I did. I thought I'll just sit in a booth all afternoon yesterday and call businesses misusing their purple. Not try and fool them into thinking I'm anyone real. I was just putting on a shonky Cockney voice. And anyway, this is what happened when I called a shop called Purple Fashions.
Hey.
Good afternoon, Purple Fashion.
Hello, my name's Les Nougat. How are you today?
Yeah, good, thank you.
I'm calling from Cadbury Chocolates. You know our work?
Yes.
You've seen our chocolates in the shop?
Yes.
How would you describe the packet of your dairy milk chocolate? What colour's that then, love?
Blue?
No, you see, that's very nice. You're trying it on, but it's not blue, is it? It's purple.
It's purple?
Yeah, that's right. It's a purple packet. And that purple is a registered trademark of my governor, Mr. Cadbury. All right?
Okay.
I just want to know if you've got permission to use our purple.
Yeah, we are Purple Fashion.
I'm well aware of that. I can see the sign, Dale, every time I drive past. There it is, staring me in the face.
It's fashion.
I know it's fashion. I'm not disputing that. It's the purple part I got the trouble with, isn't it? What's it doing on there? That's a Cadbury purple.
So what's that concern about?
We're
Yeah.
clamping down on people misusing the colour purple, aren't we? We've already called that bleeder, what's his name, bloody Prince, in his new power generation. He's been pulling that bloody gaff for years. We're clamping down.
But I'm sorry, it's nothing we can do because when we register our name, no one said anything, so...
You realise you have made yourself a glass and a half of trouble,
Okay.
right? Things are looking very dark. They're looking very rum and raisin.
I'm sorry, but I can't take this call because nothing I can do about it.
By close of trading this afternoon, would it be possible for you to get out the front and replace all the purple signs in perhaps a nice mauve?
No, but I mean, it's purple is the name of the store. And, I mean, purple has many different shades and...
That's right. That's what I'm saying to you. Why can't you choose a slightly different shade of purple? One that's not going to confuse people. See, at the moment, people are driving past. They go, look at that, a fashion shop. Oh, hang on. I feel like a bit of Cadbury's chocolate.
Yeah, no one have ever said that. Sorry.
You cannot tell me that you haven't had someone coming in there going, I'm feeling like a bit of nice dairy milk now. Have you got any of that there?
Never, ever, ever.
Not once?
No one said that to us anyway. So
You've not had someone coming in smacking their lips going, yum, I'd like a nice bit of chocolate. What you got?
Sorry, I don't think that I should talk any further with you because it's very unreasonable.
I know what you're doing. You're going to hang up and you're going to go and have a nice block of chocolate, aren't you? Because you're thinking purple. You're working in that shop. You're taking in the vibes. You're going, oh, chocolatey. I'm going to co-op some of that nice chocolatey glass and half goodness.
I don't eat chocolate, sorry.
So can I just ask, what is your name? Who am I speaking to?
This is Chiquita.
Chiquita?
Yep.
What, as in Cadbury's Chiquita?
No.
Do you have permission to be using that name, love?
No, it's just my name.
Bit of a coincidence, innit? Cadbury's Chiquita, purple fashions. We're going to be sending our lawyers down. They're going to have some words, all right?
Okay, thank you.
You're going to go and have some chocolate now, aren't you?
We don't eat chocolate here.
You can't get enough of the stuff, love. I know you. Lano and Woodley are with us this morning. This is what happened to me yesterday. We did a segment on the show, Ed, with chat lines, you know, with their, what do they call it?
Pickup
lines.
Oh, yeah.
People had to call in with those.
Yeah, it's great.
And,
so you're growing older now because it's your chat line.
It's
not just a pickup line.
Yes.
What are we going to talk about there, lovely lady?
I'll be talking about Bristols in a moment for no reason. One of my very many odd medical problems, we'll be getting to all of them over the course of the show, is acid reflux. This is when acid is in your stomach and it basically comes up your throat and tries to kill you. It's when your own body turns on you.
Stay down there, for God's sake, acid.
That's right. It's like the alien's blood.
Yeah.
And so I've got to be having this Gaviscon. Do you know Gaviscon?
Yeah.
Gaviscon. Oh, You've just got to sing Galveston.
Was that the ad where the guy would draw on his stomach? You'd actually draw on texture on his stomach? Yeah.
That wouldn't have helped, I don't
think.
No,
that would cause more reflux.
So I've got to have this Gaviscon after every meal. So I've gone to lunch yesterday. And then I've got back to the car, and I'm in an undercover car park, and I've got the Gaviscon in the glove box of the car. Yep. So I'm sitting there sculling Gaviscon in my car quietly to myself, and suddenly there's a knock on the side window of the car. And there's a guy standing there with very few of his own teeth, attempting to smile at me, and he just goes, "Mate, I've got one for you." And, of course, he's obviously referring to the segment about the pickup lines, but I didn't put that together at the time. And he's just grabbed his nuts, and he's gone, "How do you like your eggs?"
And your mind just exploded at that point. Because
what has happened? And then, to make it even more bizarre, I've looked up and there's a woman sitting in her car facing me watching all this. And she's staring at me, and I've looked up at the rear vision mirror and I've got a little pink Gaviscon moustache. So I'm sitting there with a pink moustache while a guy's grabbing his nuts going, "How do you like your eggs?" But isn't that just a moment where you go, what has happened to my life? Didn't I have a normal job at some point?
Well, actually, I was out with a friend of mine last night, and she said that she'd heard the show and she'd forgotten, didn't call in, but she was at a bar last weekend, and this guy walked up to her and said, "You've got really nice hair," and she said, "Thank you so much." And then she looked down and realised that he was grabbing his own nuts, and then he goes, "It really turns me on. It turns me on right now." And then just stood there rubbing himself until a bouncer kicked him out. Change of sort of.
Were you guys as disturbed as I was by the fact that Ed was acting that out?
Yes, sorry.
I was really impressed by the fact that you
I didn't even notice. You looked into my eyes when you said it turns me on right now.
I didn't mind it when you did actions for the Gaviscon moustache. I didn't mind that, but when he actually grabbed his...
I didn't notice.
His beaten two veg, I was kind of going, I don't know whether you have to go that far, Ed, but...
But like you say, out there in the young people's world with the chat lines, is there a lot of nut grabbing going on? Does that do it for you?
Yeah.
If someone came up to you in a nightclub and went, "How do you like your ends?" and just went the grab, would that work?
Do you know Kel? You know Kel Wilson, the comedian?
Yes.
She said that somebody came up to her once and said, 80 kilo penguin. And she went, "What?" And he goes, "Just trying to break the ice."
Hey!
Not bad.
That's worth a round.
That's all right.
It's a prize back for Frank Woodley. We've got so much rubbish to talk about on this show. Do you remember the $6 Million Man? Apparently it's coming. It's finally happening. I knew we'd live to see it in our lifetime. Bionic arm, bionic eye, bionic ear, bionic legs. It's all coming.
Oh, it's happening.
It's really going to be happening.
So when they actually engage in activity, do they have to do it in slow motion? with all that stuff?
It will slow you down. It's not going to be worth it unless you get the sound. Sure.
But you can get the sound of the eye just by crossing the traffic lights. You know, when you cross the traffic lights and you hear that...
Jeez.
I always feel like I'm using the bionic
and yet
bionic
that's for blind people's benefit, so that's just rubbing it in, really, isn't it?
It is.
True. That's the council taking the piss.
But it's $6 billion, is it? It's not 6 million. It's actually 6 billion. It says there in the article that he actually has got in front of him he's grabbing his nuts.
Because we remember the $6 Million Man when it was on, but it just doesn't sound that impressive. It's like saying the $400 man.
Can I just try something? You've got that sound effect again. How do you like your ears?
The $6 million chat line, whatever that might be. Angus Sampson is with us on the panel. You mentioned off air that you've been overseas in LA, and do you do that thing of looking for obscure celebrities?
Certainly, Tony. I know that you're a massive fan of that. What happened was I was there in December. My housemate is Lee Winnell, and he made the Saw films and is responsible for that, and they're shooting Saw 3 at the moment.
Really?
Wow.
Does he do anything, or is he just living on an island going, saw a leg off, that'll do. That could be a sequel. Approved. Someone else can write it. And what haven't we sawn off yet?
It literally is amazing what happens. I got to stay there for a month, and of course, with the fiscal success of Saw, everybody there is kind of like, you know, he might be sort of pitching an idea of just as a joke, and they're like, "We like it, great, 3 guys in a radio booth, yeah, okay," and he's sort of looking over there, and we play canned laughter. Fantastic.
Coming soon. Canned.
Bobcat Golf, right? And so I got to meet all, you know, and hang out. There's a place there called Chateau Marmont, which is steeped in entertainment.
A number of people have died there.
Have they? People have died here. The story of James Dean climbing in through a window to audition for Giant and landing the part of a film called Giant. And we went there, and I ended up sort of, the first night I was there, I was having dinner and talking, and Lee's like, "Oh, God, there's got to be some celebrities here." Just before we went to leave, these girls came and said, "Oh, do you mind if we sit here?" I'm like, cool. They came and sat down. Nicole Richie and Misha Barton. And you're kind of going, okay, so what do you guys do? Sure enough, I'm like, is that Jason Bateman over there? Like, as I'm talking.
Someone who's on a good show.
Yeah, it was like mid-conversation, I actually cut them off. I'm like, and sure enough, after a while, you got sort of, not bored, I got to go and speak to Woody Allen and Quentin Tarantino and stuff. But the highlight for me, the highlight for me was seeing Cookie from City Slickers in Beverly Hills, the chef who hurts his leg, the alcoholic chef, and who was wandering down the street in Beverly Hills, and Brad from Pulp Fiction, you know, where Samuel Jackson goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, is that a whopper?" Yeah. You know, and do they speak English and what? And I'm like, Brad, you know, it's ridiculous. Who did you see?
Oh, I was on a tram in San Francisco, and I just noticed the bloke across from me just had hands the size of dinner plates, and I looked up Lou Ferrigno.
I met him.
Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk, and sitting next to him, a tiny, tiny woman who I assume must be Mrs. Ferrigno. Lady Ferrigno.
She is. I met him at a cartoon and comic swap in New York City, and I literally there was him, Adam West, aka Batman, the Riddler.
Frank Gorshin.
Frank Gorshin, when he was rest his riddling soul. There was the guy from Never Say Never Again, who, a.k.a. I think Punjab from Annie the musical / movie. He was there, and Lou Ferrigno, and you had to pay to get their autographs. And I was shooting pictures of them off the hip with my camera,
in your belt buckle camera.
Not wanting to pay for the. And Adam West had just had an eye job, and he had his.
That's a surgical
shades.
procedure, not a sexual term.
And Lou Ferrigno, I got Lou to sign. I bought some photos of him and posters, and I said, he's like, "Odo," and I was like, "Angus," and he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Angus," and he looked to his little wife, and he's like, "What is he saying?" This also sounds a bit like Arnie, and she said Angus, and she's like A, N,
wow,
letter at a time.
Spell it out. I love how we've just passed over Nicole Richie and Michelle Martin to get straight to the Adam West kid. Did those two women just look like a couple of chopsticks sitting there?
I had never seen the OC, is it?
Yeah,
I'd never seen the OC, so I just thought, she's a really lovely dresser, this woman. Like, she had such a wonderful style. More importantly, I did catch a lift to Target with Banya from Seinfeld.
We're just name dropping. Jerry. We're just name dropping now, and I'm sorry to interrupt this stream of incredible names, Angus.
What about the Mercedes-Benz dealer from The Sopranos, Series 5? I mean, I saw her. I was at Noosa once on a holiday, and I went up to this place called the Rolling Rock on a Wednesday night, and they had like $2 beers, and there was about 30 people in there, and it's like, "Okay, Noosa, are you ready to rock?" Yeah! And a couple of, about 3 or 4 people sort of went, "Yeah," and I sort of stopped my conversation and went, "What?" He said, "Okay, Noosa, let's raise the roof." And the song he played was "One Shot in the Revolution," John Farnham's Poison Pen. And I kid you not, John Farnham's Poison Pen, "Let's raise the roof."
And any sign of the roof raised?
It's still open apparently now. And hello to all the Rolling Rock Wednesday night regulars.
Get this. Weekday mornings from 9 on Triple M.